Hey, how you doing? Tony Wysinski, official aerator. Nephew, White Sox Dave, is in the building having a couple of Miller Lights. Obviously, my good friend Frankie Bergesay.
I'll leave it up to you, Uncle Frankie. And Uncle Tony.
I'm happy I won that stare down. Miller
Whose
Lite.
nephew is he? He just hangs out.
I mean, you're like my fake uncle, but I call him my uncle because we're so close.
I'm your real uncle.
And Tony's my real blood uncle.
There
but
you
you're
go.
both my uncles.
There you go. Tournament time. NCAA.
Did
Miller
you fill out
Lite.
the brackets?
Miller, of course I did. I sat there long and hard. Drank a Miller Lite, enjoyed myself.
This guy loves a bracket. Always has, always will.
If you had a bracket of 64 domestic Pilsners, who would go all the way to the championship game for you?
I'm taking Auburn.
I think he's talking about beers, and I think he means Miller Lite.
Yeah, Miller Lite.
Nephew Dave throwing another smoke screen here. He's had, like I said, we've been sitting in the basement. He's watching the DVR to selection show. He's getting ready for the second round of First Fours here, and he's had a couple. He's in a good mood.
Absolutely. I'm happy to have Miller Lite as a sponsor of this show. Best conversations I tend to think take place over this.
Yeah, we ran into Ryan Dempster on a Southport Ave the other day, and we had a couple Miller Lights, and it was just great baseball talk.
Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/redline to find the delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Chicago sports fans. This is White Sox Dave.
And Carl.
Eddie,
And this is Barstool Sports.
is Chief on?
And
Chiefs.
Redline Radio. Are we on?
We're going to do...
And this is Redline Radio in all gas, no breaks, Chicago sports podcast brought to you by the aforementioned Miller Lite and Barstool Sports Chicago.
That was actually... You're getting worse, Dave. No, you're getting better at it. I thought that was a very good introduction. And
Appreciated.
It's a big week for sports. Like Dave said, Ryan Dempster is going to be in studio. Big week for sports. Obviously, you get maybe some of you guys just saw the players. Maybe you guys saw some of the havoc wreaked on Sunday. And I saw a couple guys rolling the puck strong with the TaylorMades. I really did. I saw the TaylorMades all over the television. And White Sox Dave was texting me. He's like, yo, dude, I got to get my hands on one of these TaylorMades. I see the TaylorMades all the time.
So I grew up swinging a stealth bat, and I saw that TaylorMade's got the stealth carbonwood driver in stores now, and I was like, all right, I'm not much of a golfer, but I have to have this stealth carbonwood driver in my hands because I'm about to go on a warpath at all the local municipal courts that are $30 to get on for 18 holes. And I think that I would be able to drive the ball near 400 yards with that.
Oh.
It's the future of driving performance. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Get it, the carbon twist face. It's comprised of 60 layers of carbon sheets strategically arranged for better energy transfer and faster ball speeds across larger area of the face.
We talk about that
How
time
important
and,
is that?
Yeah, we talk about it time and again here frequently.
Yep.
Hey, Father's Day is coming up too. Not a bad time to be
That is
throwing your
true.
old man. Maybe talk to the bros. Everybody throwing a couple bucks. Get your dad something nice, something he can control on the tee box, or just go check out. We got Barstool gear that we have collaborated with. If you go to TaylorMadeGolf.com/Barstool to check out TaylorMade and Barstool golf gear today, that's TaylorMadeGolf.com/Barstool. We have our own landing page with them. That's good shit, guys. TaylorMade. All right, we have Ryan Dempster coming in the studio. The Cubs just splashed some free agent stuff. It's free agent season. It's It's actually an exciting time, too, because on the Bears end, we're going to talk a little bit about the Bears after Dempster, like what they're doing. Polls is starting to, you're starting to get some tells, but
It's officially an SZN.
season.
A season. But a SCN
How
season.
long did it take you to get that? Like, I still can't figure that out. The zone, DAZN,
Oh, I had
Yeah.
a hard time with that.
that one gets
We're
my
just
brain.
all a little too old for that shit. But
I think we're also a little
they didn't
stupid,
think
too.
that through.
yeah.
They didn't think that through.
Focus group that.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like Barstool should sell focus group services.
they should.
Like,
But
we're four regular guys. If we don't get it, then maybe name it something else.
I have
Yeah.
like a pitch developed on that I didn't bring to anybody. That after I did the root beer thing, I swear to fucking God.
I believe you.
Because I was like, we have so many data points on men ages like 18 to 27. Like I could fucking go right now and have a conversation. Anybody in marketing root beer and have an intelligent conversation about what makes one better than the other. And I'd have a fucking real strong point to have a conversation on that.
It's a good idea.
Didn't do it though. It's like, because then what are they going to say? They're going to go, this is not your idea. Go make some fucking content. Just go talk about the root beer. Don't outsmart the root beer here.
Mm-hmm.
Focus groups.
Focus groups.
Data points.
That's our next big vertical at Barstool Sports
Polling.
is polling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is trade season. It is free agent season in baseball and football. Where would you guys like to start? Would we like to start with Seiya Suzuki? Seiya. I don't know.
We're gonna we talk about him with Dempster. I mean, the deal's it's notable. I guess it's 570 or 585 or something. I don't know. When I saw it reported, then someone told me the numbers had changed. But I don't know. Ricketts went to Japan. It's like, he got his guy. This is a distraction. He'll be great if the 5 years is the part I really like. I mean, if we're judging this guy in fucking June based on like whether or not it was a good signing, then you're a moron. So it also means that Jason Hayward will not be starting. So we don't say that to Dempster because that's mean, but so it's big news. What we don't talk about is some of the White Sox stuff, but I feel like.
You think for sure that means he's not starting?
Hayward won't start right field.
You got to take
Ian
into
Happ's
account
gonna
there's a
start in left.
DH now.
Yeah, no, I got that. But you're not going to pay this guy to come over here and DH.
No.
You're paying Clint Frazier $1 million to DH. The Cubs are going to use the DH role to just dump bodies in there and be like, oh, maybe this guy's hot. They'll platoon it. Because they're not that fucking good right now, which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
But the Suzuki guy should play right field. You pay this guy the money. You bring him over from Japan. You're going to give this guy a translator. There's going to be all this buzz and shit. Hopefully we got the merch out by the time season starts. Remember, like, when we'll get into the Fukudome comparison too, but it is a big deal when he's like one of the best players in Japan. He's fucking good.
From what I understand, that like you don't have to just necessarily stash him in a corner. From what I've read, he's an athlete and he can play center, like a very capable, not just a body in center field.
I wouldn't like that though. He's got a big arm.
He's got a big arm. He's got
take
a
your
rifle,
big arm
apparently.
out to right field, get comfortable out there, enjoy your time, and then center field, run some athletes out there. I heard Nico Horner might be playing some outfield. So,
I mean, I was thinking so they just traded for
and Rizzo just signed with the Yankees. That's confirmed. I got to say that. Dante broke that story through Hubs. Congratulations to Rizzo. I definitely didn't think he was signing back with the Yankees.
I definitely didn't either. I got some fucking cuntbag Yankees fan like, oh, look at this, you fucking loser. After the Yankee, I'm like, Auntie Rizzo, he's gone. He literally told me to my face the last time I saw him, last July, that he is not re-signing with the Yankees. So
it's sad. It's sad that he on the Yankees when you had that conversation?
No, not yet. It was an in-depth conversation, but he said that it will not be the Yankees because that's a lot of what I do on the internet. Not a lot, but
I feel bad for him because of the rumors of the five. It's rumored that he got extended a lot more, or it shouldn't say rumored, like it's confirmed. It is absolutely confirmed that the Cubs offered him significantly more than what he just signed for. So that is sad.
I have hard time crying for someone making $32 million who's already made 60-something million over his career, but
to be off by 3 years and another $40 million.
Yeah, it's a bad break.
Yeah, he could opt out after 1 year.
Yeah, that's true.
Could get hot.
If he has a monster year, then
which is absolutely what is he, 31, 32? If that?
I'll say he's 32.
What do you think changed, Dave, to make him do it?
I mean, obviously market conditions are huge, but he didn't have a good year last year. He didn't have a good year. He's been in a decline, so it's like you're not getting 2016 Anthony Rizzo where you're guaranteed 35 home runs, a 385 plus on base, Gold Glove defense. That's not him anymore, unfortunately, and that's just what happens. He rolled the dice on himself, and this time he rolled sevens. Shit happens. So, but like Ed said, there's an opt out after one. From that is correct, right? There is a confirmed opt. All right,
that's what the internet
He
said.
can rebuild his value. I mean, that's a short porch in Yankee Stadium. A great place to hit. So if he's healthy, there's no doubt that he can bounce back and have a big year there, especially there.
I hope he does.
I hope he does. Yeah.
Gotta be great. Good for him. Josh Harrison to the White Sox.
I don't mind that move at all. Perfectly fine with that. I think second base is probably the easiest plug and play position on the entire diamond. Josh Harrison had a good year last year. I mean, he's a 9-hitter. You sign him for, I think it was $5 million, whatever.
Is it enough for you guys?
Absolutely not. So that's what we got to get into with the White Sox if we want to shift that way. But Josh Harrison, fine. Like I wouldn't have cared if they did sign him. When they did sign him, I was like, oh, Josh Harrison, he's, fine. He's good, whatever. I have had a ton of both Nationals and Pirates fans reach out to me saying that, like, you're going to fucking love this guy. Like, he's one of those just overplays his stats kind of guys. Like, timely hitter, blah, 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 blah. I'm fine with it. Second base is second base. He's
so probably be the best team he's played on, too. No, I shouldn't look because I know when he left the Pirates, he had like a little bit with Detroit. He was with Oakland, the Nationals. But I would be willing to bet that in Josh Harrison's long 2-time All-Star career that this will be by far and away the best team he's played on.
I would guess that is correct, yes. He's been on some fucking dumpster fires.
He's fucking old, too, by the way.
He's 35. But, I mean, he swung it last year. We'll see. It's what so far this year, they have signed Kendall Graveman to that deal. I think it was $8 million a year, I want to say. They have signed now Josh Harrison, Joe Kelly, which we'll talk about in a moment. And they extended Lurie for, I think it was 3 for $24 right after the season ended. So they've spent about $25 million this year. And their 2 biggest holes when the season ended were right field and starting pitcher. Now, they did just add Vince Velasquez, and I'm always going to butcher that name. Vince Velasquez from Philly, who's just got dynamite shit, has never figured it out. 1 year, $3 million, whatever it was. Let Katz do his thing with them. Hopefully they strike gold like they did with Rodon last offseason, and there's a cheap, hopefully dependable back-end guy.
I think, more interesting is Joe Kelly and Graveman, because if you go back to the Astros series, to me the big issue with the White Sox was like, you're coming through the Astros lineup third time around. It's like, who the fuck we going to? Like Kimbrel pitched a little early, right? You have Hendricks, who's obviously the best reliever in the American League, but to me, there just was like this gap, and
it was the starting pitching, though.
The biggest issue,
starting pitching shit the bed.
Sure, the starting pitching shit the bed, but the biggest gap going forward, as far as like winning championships and stuff, is like who is the best at getting the lineup out the third time it's up in the game. Mm-hmm. Like if you can put together a bullpen where you can the third time a lineup is up, which is really when a lot of the damage is done. If you can get that bullpen, or you can come up with some kind of formula or combination of pitchers that can limit that third time through the lineup and like totally outperform relative to other people in the league. I think that's like a huge strategic advantage. And that's just something that just keeps coming up in managing the starting pitching and stuff. So those are Joe Kelly and the other guy, because they're just going to make everybody better. These guys throw fucking gas. They're experienced. Everybody's going to have to be better to get time. Like I know there's Crotchet and fucking Bummer are reliable guys and all that stuff, but like newsflash, dudes, like you guys have to, I know the lefties too, but like the high leverage innings and stuff, if you're really competitive, the fucking pie just got, we're slicing the pie up a little bit more. So hopefully it makes the other guys better too. That's why I really like those
you shift
two guys.
Everybody. Yeah, they're good signings if they're not the signings, is what I'm trying to say. Funny thing about Joe Kelly. So I got a DM. Today's Wednesday. I think this was Thursday or Friday of last week. So about a week ago, saying, hey, I got an inside scoop. Joe Kelly signing with the White Sox. And as you guys all do too, I get these all the time. And I'll tweet them here and there. And so Joe Kelly signed. Immediately within 10 minutes, I received a phone call saying, do not say a fucking word about Joe Kelly signing. And I'm like, okay, I won't say a fucking word about Joe Kelly signing. And sure shit happens, but and credit to this guy, forget his name. Sorry, I told you I'd shout you out on the podcast. You had it. You nailed it. Random guy in my DMs. You beat Heyman and Passan and Rosenthal and all those guys to the punch. Credit to you. Anyways, they still have right field and they still have back-end starting pitcher. Their payroll's the highest it's ever been. It's tough to call them a cheap franchise when they're going to be over $200 million. If they don't sign one of the 3 remaining outfielders, and I'm talking top tier guys, I'm not talking Jock Peterson. I know he was pretty good for Atlanta in the second half of last year. It's Conforto, Bryant, and Nick Castellanos. Like Jerry Reinsdorf does not give a flying fuck about winning. You see what the Padres are doing. They were all over Suzuki. Massive extension for Tatis prior to all his motorcycle shit. They're like, I want to see them go for the jugular one time. And all three of those guys, none of them are going to be $300 million or $200 million or $150 million or $100 million even dollar guys. But I would prefer Conforto probably for roster fit reasons because he's a lefty. The Sox are a right-handed lineup. They need a lefty that just pounds right-handed pitching and someone who can play quality defense to the left of Lubob in center field because we all know how Eloy and Vaughn, they're not good in left field. So you need someone who won't – so Robert doesn't have to cover foul pole to foul pole. That's Conforto to me. But I would never bitch if they signed Castellanos, who's not a very good outfielder at all, or Bryant, who's, not traditionally a right fielder. I wouldn't complain. What I will complain about is if they end up the offseason spending on Lurie Garcia, Josh Harrison, Joe Kelly, and Kendall Graveman. That will be completely inexcusable. That'll be a fucking dog shit offseason. And every time Rick Hahn gets onto the microphone, if he's trying to sell us on like, hey, we're doing everything we can to win a World Series, it wouldn't be on Hahn because he's not the one who cuts the checks. It would be on Jerry Reinsdorf, and it would make me sick to my stomach. And I'm trying
Even
really
though their
hard.
payroll's as high as it's ever been.
Yeah. The fucking Dodgers are about to sign Freddie Freeman.
We've been down this path 1,000 times.
Then why'd you open it?
I'm just curious if you open up, it's the highest it's ever been.
I don't give a flying fuck.
So it has to be way more.
They have to do. No, I'm not talking about. I don't give a shit what I don't care if it's $300 million right now. There's a gaping hole in right field, and there's a gaping hole at the back half of the rotation. Michael Kopech could be Cy Young caliber pitcher when he starts this year. He's not going over probably 130, 140, and then you got the playoffs. I mean, Keuchel's back.
Ronaldo Lopez has room to throw.
He's out of options. He's probably gone.
Okay.
Well, what about it stretching out Crotchet?
That's what they said they're going to do that a little bit, but like I don't care.
Okay.
I do not care. I want
Crotches.
There's three players right now. Three players I just named. Mm-hmm. Michael Conforto, Chris Bryant, and Nick Castellanos that instantly make your team better. And all you have to do is offer them the most money. I don't want to hear, oh, we're doing everything we can to win a World Series if you don't land one of those three players. And I think Conforto will probably come the cheapest of the three. That'd be my guess. And it
Who'd
would
be your second preference?
Because of injury risk, probably Castellanos. Bryant's been super hot and cold, and Castellanos just keeps getting better and better and better at the dish. And I loved him dating back to his time in Detroit. Like, he just fucking rakes. But I'm taking, like, the complete player, and Conforto provides the best defense of the three. Even though it's an easy outfield to play typically at guaranteed rate because it's a small field and everything. But it would be completely inexcusable to me. Completely inexcusable. And Rick Hahn would be lying for Jerry Reinsdorf if they don't end up with one of those three players. It's as simple as that. And then you gotta probably trade for a back-end pitcher. Frankie Montas and Sean Manaea are still available, and Oakland's in a fire sale. So that's how it goes. I'm trying my hardest not to freak out because it hasn't happened yet. But it's like, hey man, spring training's we're balls deep in spring training right now. It's started over a week ago. Like, let's go. Come on, let's go for a World Series.
How would
do
you
it.
rank
All
those
it costs is fucking money.
How would you rank those three?
KB, Conforto, and Castellanos at distant third. Because Castellanos can swing it, but like I just don't. Castellanos has never won shit. He is not. Like, he mashes. Listen, he mashes, but if you listen to this interview, like with Ryan Dempster or something, you get the concept of like teamwork and camaraderie. Or maybe I'm pulling from the Frank Kaminsky interview here. I can't really remember now, but I just don't think Castellanos adds to a team dynamic. I actually think he takes away from it. So, and that's my own opinion from watching him play for he dominated with the Cubs, but a lot of people close to that team said that. He wasn't. That was what we saw. All the positive things that he did. You know what I mean? That there wasn't this extra gear. There wasn't any he's not a leader. We'll say that. And you're looking.
They got plenty of leaders.
Sure.
I want someone who can fucking rake. I don't care.
Sure.
Like,
But I'm explaining why he's a distant third compared to Conforto and Bryant. So Bryant's
Conforto's
clearly
never
one
won
for
shit.
me after watching him, and when he is healthy, I mean, he got drilled in the face with a ball and had issues with his vision. And then a lot of people hold up his 34 games in 2020. And we've talked to him about that personally. He's like, dude, that's a fucking joke. Like, you're going to judge me on 2020. If you're going to judge anybody on 2020, you're stupid.
Like, any
but if you look
performance in
in
any
and around
industry,
that, he's just the perfect guy to come in because he's just such a fucking pro, slides right in.
Loves the city.
I mean, like, there's none of this, like, well, Conforto's athletic and he jumps on and stuff. Like, you know exactly what you'd be getting from Chris Bryant. And he'd probably end up hitting, like, 5th in that lineup. And he gets on base at a crazy clip. You know, and he's a very good outfielder. He played center field for the fucking Giants last year.
I mean, like I said,
he's just going to be – I think he's going to be way more expensive than Conforto.
Taking all things into account, including money, because I know that is an issue for fuckface Jerry Reinsdorf, that, like, Conforto makes the most sense to me. Like, they need someone – I mean, think about it. You got Tim Anderson. Moncada's a switch hitter. Abreu. Eloy, Robert, like,
your best argument is fit. He fits
the best. But I mean, if we're talking players, I'm taking Brian all day, of course.
Who is going to sign Conforto?
I don't know, but here's the other thing. Those are all 3 Boris clients. So Boris has his work cut out for him right now because he's going to have to use one of his guys to set the market for the other guy, and he doesn't want to do that because of, you know, everything we see. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be tough for him. I wouldn't be surprised if it's another fucking week or 2 before these guys sign. Maybe a week before the season because it's Scott Boras represented clients. But like I said, there's excuse me. There's absolutely no excuse. Not one. I don't want to hear about the pandemic here. If you throw the pandemic here in my face, I'll throw the fucking
look who you're fucking
Braves,
talking to.
The Braves. I'm talking to
biblical losses.
The White Sox front office right now. I'm talking. If you want to throw those numbers in my face, I'll throw the fucking $60 million payrolls you were trotting out the 4 years earlier, when the White Sox were winning 60 games a year. Mm-hmm. So go fuck yourself about money. I do not want to hear money,
bro. We are currently talking about. We've talked about biblical losses. Biblical losses. We fired everybody who worked there. Jerry was paying people extra, and now Tom Ricketts has a bid out for Chelsea FC with Ken fucking Griffin.
Suck my fucking.
Yeah, suck my fucking dick is right.
Yeah. Blow me.
Yeah, so
get the fuck out of my face.
You guys had it way worse. We never had those type of low payrolls. I mean, they were bad when Theo came in, but you know, the Suzuki will be the big signing, and they'll be like, look what we did. We did Suzuki, we did Stroman, and we also have Chelsea.
I was all for just gutting it to the fucking bones. Trade sale, trade Quintana, trade everybody. Get that payroll to minuscule numbers so you can rebuild it. Have guys playing for cheap, which they are still right now. And go and make these monster. And you heard Rick Hahn say, like, during Sox Fest, during the Machado, and I hate going back to that winter, with Machado and Harper saying, we want to be a destination for these marquee free agents. Like, we would be pissed off if we don't land one of them. Obviously, they didn't land them. And here we are in the heart of the World Series window. And if they don't sign one of these guys, it'll be a pure financial reason. It's disgusting. It will sicken me. It'll sicken every White Sox fan. And I know it would sicken Rick Hahn because he wants to win as much as anybody. He wants to cement his legacy in this city, being from this city. And it would really fucking piss me off. And we didn't even talk about the whole Carlos Rodon thing. Like, that was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. To not offer, like, I hope to God one day I can, like, I'm talking even 20 years down the road, I can get an answer on why they didn't extend Carlos Rodon a qualifying offer. And if it was just like, hey, we fucked up, I can take that.
Right.
I can take it because everybody fucks up in their job. Baseball is a game of failure. Like, these guys fail 7 out of 10 at bats, blah, 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 blah. If it was like, hey, we thought he'd take it, and they were worried about paying a guy that was just top 5 Cy Young, top 10 starting pitcher in all of baseball, $18 million for a 1-year commitment, I'll fucking puke my guts out.
What if they just wanted more opportunity for Crochet and Kopech?
That has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Why? If you sign Velasquez and you have what?
They're just different things. They're just way different things. Like taking a flyer on Velasquez versus like bringing
They should
Rodon
they
back,
should have
'cause
taken that flyer on Velasquez anyways.
The other thing is, like, if Rodon turns down the qualifying offer, then they get a draft pick.
And
so it's not just
it's
about
not
having
just-
him
Oh, yeah, I
around.
forgot
like
about
it's
a
not just the draft
conversation.
pick. It's that you have an extra couple million of pool money to sign. So say there's a guy that's slated to go around 15th overall. You got that extra pool money because you got that comp pick, which it'd be anywhere from $1 million to $2 million. And you can be like, hey, we got you 15th money. We're going to take you 35th or 38th, whatever they would slot in at overall. And you're going to get the 5th, and you're going to join this stud that we just drafted, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, huge benefits.
Yeah.
So it's like it was stupid in every single way, other than, like I said, if it was just, hey, we fucked up, I can live with that.
What about a positive spin like, yo, we've been with this guy forever, and, like, I don't know. If he takes it, like, the risk is that he takes it, and then we got to play this guy because we just don't think he's going to be any good at all. Like, that's one of the reasons why you don't give a guy qualifying offers, because like, we just don't want you
one-year
around.
commitment,
I'm not fucking saying this is what they should do. I'm saying, how can they get to this decision? And literally, like, the most reasonable one would be, we don't want this guy starting for us.
That's ridiculous in and of itself because he had a 2.3 ERA. He was worth 5 wins last year.
Just signed with the Giants, got a nice fucking deal. They know their shit when they hit the market for free agents like that. They don't fuck up these pitchers very often. The Giants do a very good job. After Barry Zito, they were like, we're not going to fuck up anymore.
I'll tell you who loved that decision more than anybody.
Probably Carlos Rodon.
Carlos Rodon. He was like,
yeah.
dude, like he knew with about a month to go in the season that he wasn't touching that qualifying offer. Like once it was extended, not if it was extended, once it was extended. He knew. It was 100% certainty. And this is one of those, trust me, I got a good sources type conversations. And like when they didn't extend it, that probably guaranteed him an extra $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
Which good for him, good for his family. He's got 2 young daughters now. Good for them. Like they're set for life now. But like it doesn't compute in my brain. Other than like, hey, we fucked up. We should have done that. We misread the market. Like whatever. That's still kind of inexcusable. But like I can live with that. If it's just purely a money reason because they thought there was an inkling of a chance that he would have taken that $18 million. It sickens me. And then like they've added $25 million to their payroll so far this winter. Team hasn't really gotten better.
Oh, baloney.
How?
I told you the bullpen's way better.
Bullpen isn't better. They lost Kopech from it.
I mean, fine, but you also gained Kimbrel.
Kimbrel was dog shit last year.
I know.
And
Bounce
he's out
back.
the door.
I know he is. He is. No, I do really like Joe Kelly and
Joe
Trey.
Kelly. I
do. I've always very much enjoyed
Joe
this.
Kelly's
so let's
a
be
good
positive
pitcher.
for a second. So we come back next week. We talk this time next week. You'll be happy if Conforto signs. You'll be happy.
Oh, I'll be elated if Conforto signs.
Have we've never seen him like this in the off season. I'm trying to think of what
I'm trying
Eddie,
my
what
hardest.
off season moments jump out to you where you're like, Dave was happy, came in happy. Ever since he said,
He was
I think
happy
he's
about
coming to the White
Keuchel.
Sox, man. I think he's been down since the Bryce Harper jewel.
Yeah, but weren't you happy about Keuchel?
I was fine with it.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit more than fine.
I wasn't like, holy shit, we got Dallas Keuchel. Obviously,
No,
he's
but
on
it
a-
was like,
I was
yeah.
Like when they signed Grandal, I feel like he was like about fucking time. I
Yeah,
feel like
Grandal
it
was
was
a
one of
good
those.
one.
Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of contract you're looking at for all 4 of these guys. Maybe probably a little more, but he was 4 years, 78, I think, something like that. Which is, that's not chump change. That's a pretty significant deal.
What are they saying Bryant's going to get?
It's so weird for all 3 of them because Conforto had a down year last year. Brian had a down year after April. Castellanos had an awesome year, but he's probably a DH. I would say anywhere from and this is such a bullshit cop out answer, but I could see all 4 of them going anywhere from 60 million to 110 or so, which is obviously a wide range, but it's just, I don't know. Boris, like I said, Boris has got his work cut out for him, but like it's Wednesday, March 16th at 2:30 p.m. and I'm getting a little antsy. White Sox work best when they're discreet and like are, lying in the weeds waiting to pounce. I hope that's the case right now, but like I do not want to hear we're trying to win a World Series if you're worried about going to $215 million on payroll in a time when everybody. Like, look at what the fucking Blue Jays are doing. Obviously, Toronto's a major market, but it's not the market, and they're trying to sign fucking everybody. The Padres, small market, trying to sign fucking everybody. You look at what Steve Cohen did. I love Steve Cohen. He's my favorite player and
Took him in the leadership.
person in sports on the planet right now because he just says, fuck all these taxes. I want to win. Ownership, like baseball owners we need more baseball owners that treat their teams like toys and a competition rather than a business venture to line pockets. And Jerry Reinsdorf's 86 years old, dude. Like, this is your core for the rest of your life. It is. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
it is. Like, go and fucking push your chips to the middle one fucking time. One time for me.
Can I interest you?
And we're not even talking about a Machado or Harper. We're talking about fucking Michael Conforto. Please do it. That's all I ask. That's my little rant on the White Sox today.
From one slam dunk to another. Ryan Dempster coming into the office for a great interview. This guy's fucking awesome. He's just like great. I don't know.
Good people. Yep.
Hey, no scripts, no questions prepared, just straight baseball talk. It's my favorite thing on earth.
It was really fun.
Yeah. So let's get to Ryan Dempster.
Whoosh.
That's the guest mic we treated.
It's you, Owen. and
Yeah,
certain other
Ozzy.
people. Ozzy, yeah.
Yeah, we had Ozzy spent a lot of time in that seat.
He's so much fun, man.
Yeah,
he's
he's
great.
awesome.
Did you see him? Yeah, we can just start
They,
there, I guess.
they got the new, was that Ozzy's World coming out or Being Gian?
Yeah, they've had that for a while.
They have a new one coming, though.
They're always evolving it. I think they're doing a good job with it, though,
Yeah.
from everything they've told me.
Well, I think Junior wanted to, because like whoever was the platform that was airing it was kind of screwing them a little, so they wanted to do their. So it's a different one. It's not Being Gian. It's like my buddy
The
just
Wizard
showed
of
me
Ozzy?
something like that.
Okay.
That's a good one though.
Well, welcome to the interview portion of today's show. We're joined by Ryan Dempster. Obviously, if you couldn't tell, we're talking Ozzy Guillen. You were at the Barstool bar opening party. Did you see Ozzy Guillen at all?
I didn't. No, I missed him.
Did you see the picture that was circulating of him and our coworker that just, he's not on the interview right
Do
now?
we got that picture?
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
find that?
Lance, do you mind?
Oh, yeah.
Get it. We're
would
going to
be
get the
great.
picture.
Framed.
Quick review of the bar. You liked it. It was a good time.
Yeah, I love really the downstairs is really awesome.
Yeah, the downstairs is awesome.
The upstairs is great, but that downstairs area with all those TVs, like I'm a sports junkie, so if I can watch some
Yeah.
games, that's chill down there. That's as good as it gets in the city.
We did our Super Bowl party there. It was good.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, like the nice fireplace. So this is a picture of one of our coworkers. He's not in the interview. He was embarrassed. He knew we were going to bring this up.
It's so good.
Yeah.
That is so great.
They're a happy couple, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very
The
happy.
best
Cheek
comment.
to cheek.
Ozzy looks great, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done a good job, man.
He's you
Take care of himself.
could see the whatever those are, the pheromones are coming out of his skin. Like,
Yeah.
the cheeks just drawn.
He's glowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The best comment I saw on that picture was someone was like, I just showed this picture to my wife, and she said, and she doesn't know who either of the two people are, and she's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. They're in love. Like in completely serious tone.
Yeah.
That was a great night, though.
That's fun.
General sparkle out of both guys' eyes there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big time.
Ozzy leaned into it, too. That's why he's the best.
Yeah.
So big news today with the Cubs. They signed the outfielder. Everybody's been complaining. Seiya Suzuki. I'm gonna get the name wrong. We're gonna get it right at some point. I haven't talked to anybody formally yet to hear the name, but Suzuki, the outfielder from Japan. This is kind of big news. I
Yeah.
mean, we like it. We love it.
Yeah. I mean, you look at what he's done over there. I think the totality of all, and he's only 27, right? Like, I think he was like 5-time all 9 or whatever the award is.
I believe that's what it's called, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's got tremendous pop.
He's an athlete.
Quick hands. Yeah, he's, you always wonder the transition, right? It's a difficult transition, not just from baseball, but like life, culture to culture coming over to the U.S. So that's always the biggest one. But I think times have changed. I think guys have been kind of trailblazing that a little bit, through Ichiro and through Matsui and even Fukudome. When he came over here, he had very, very successful runs and moments, made the All-Star team. So, yeah, I think it's a good signing. I think it's a young bat that you're adding some power. Playing at Wrigley Field is a good option. I don't know much defensively how he is, but I'm sure if you're winning that award, you're probably doing a pretty good job there. Strong arm, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like, at least it's a step in the right direction. I don't know, exactly how it's not like you make a big signing and the guy's coming from the American League. So I guess in like your experience, is there like a notable difference? Like is there a higher strikeout rate for Major League Baseball? I thought I saw, or like they have more emphasis on contact. So like when I see he walks more than he strikes out, or like, is there anything you can kind of like interpret just from like going from the JPL to MLB?
Yeah, I think the walks more than the strikeout is huge, especially for somebody who's got pop like he does. That's what you're looking for. Now you got to remember, on a general whole, the pitching staffs over here are going to be better. Like, because 1 through 12 or 13, whatever your pitching staff is, stuff-wise, you're going to have electric starters over there, but the depth of the pitching staff here is going to be better. So then it's like, for him, he's familiar with all those pitchers over there, or a vast majority of them. He's faced them. Now it's just a matter of homework and studying and doing those things. But it seems like that's what he's here to do, right? Like, you put that work in. And two, the transition, because of the technology that we have now, through R&D departments and video that you can give and present on your phone or your iPad, he's already doing that homework, or started doing that homework. So I think that transition's a little bit better.
And if it's better resources and stuff, and he's the type of guy who can take advantage of it, then like he actually has an opportunity to get better than where he's at now.
Yeah, I believe so. He's only 27. I mean, where else can you go on the market and get a 27-year-old outfielder with that kind of power for that kind of money?
That's what I want to hear. You bring up a name that Eddie loves. I love Fukudome, and I know you play with him. We talked for him like a little bit. What that experience when he came over, I mean,
was he just like super overwhelmed? Like what like, could you sense that even? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, well, I think it was a little overwhelming at times. I just think the fact that, like I mentioned the culture. Like, I've been over to Japan and played over there in 2000, and I saw it from the other side. Mind you, it was a short window. I think we were over there for 13 days. But like, that's intimidating when I go over there. I don't speak Japanese. My Japanese was very, very limited to hello, thank you, you're welcome. And so it was, I think, a little intimidating. And I noticed that right away. I tried to, I would consider Fukudome and I friends. I had a great time playing with them, whether that was going to dinner with them or chatting with them in the locker room, at first through an interpreter. And, I think he understood English, but it was hard to converse that for him. The actual speaking it back was tough, but just a great guy, a great family guy. And and then too, you're coming to a city like Chicago where it's not LA, New York, where the Japanese culture was a little bit more prevalent, Seattle, places like that. So there was just a little bit of an adjustment period, but he got off to such a great start. I think it made it a little bit easier for him as far as that was. He made the like I said, he made the All-Star team and did great right out of the gate, and then struggled a little bit, and then kind of just like put on the side. Now you're on the bench. I think he was used to being an everyday player, and that's a tough transition as well. So, but I think that Suzuki will do just as good, if not better job transitioning, just because of where we're at in life and advances.
Less urgency too.
Yeah, that's
and
true
I don't,
too.
but I don't know if that's good or bad, because it's like he's probably going to hit third, and be like, all right, dude, hit third and be the three hitter. Or is it better where you're Fukudome and it's like, well, we just paid a shitload for Soriano, obviously DeRosa, and you got, I don't know, like Ramirez and that Derek Lee. That's he's coming into a more established lineup.
Yeah, I think, I don't know how much pressure as far as, I think he's probably felt that over there. When you're elite, no matter where you're playing, you understand those pressures, and probably more so over there. I mean, he's elite in a country that loves baseball, so he understands what all that entails and comes to dealing with media and media requests and all that kind of stuff. I'm excited to watch him play.
Yeah.
Well, would you, reflecting back on your time with Fukudome, like if you think like David Ross is up for the task, right? Because like I feel like there's just gonna be so many questions, because we've been waiting for a free agent signing, and everybody's been saying this shit about Correa, and so like now that he's got Suzuki, I just feel like it's just people are gonna be waiting and hammering David Ross for like, so what's wrong? He's gonna go 1 for 4 with 2 groundouts or something. They're gonna be like, oh, what'd you think of the 2 groundouts and the strikeout? I don't know. I feel like David Ross is gonna have his hands full already. People are never fucking happy.
No, and it is hard, because if you sign, so you go out there and sign Trevor Story, David Ross and every coach and every player and everybody in our media has watched Trevor Story play.
Right.
So we can easily answer those questions because of past experience. there's this unknown factor that, and two, when you're, you guys know this, you interviewing people, you want answers, or media, somebody wants an answer about somebody and you don't have that, then you get pressed at a different angle or a different question, and then sometimes that can just be maybe a little bit frustrating because he probably just, knowing David, he just wants to get to know him, the person first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then we'll worry about him as the ball player. Like, what can I do to make your transition here to America easier and here to the major leagues the easiest, so that, you can trust us in this family here. And it is funny, like you're talking about that, not knowing, right? I went to Japan. I was saying it was those all-star tours we used to do over there. So at the time, Ichiro had just posted with Seattle. So Seattle was in the midst of negotiations with Ichiro, and Ichiro wasn't playing in the tournament because of it. There's no reason for him to play in the tournament. All he was going to do is hurt his stock. He was already the elite of the elite over there. And my 23-year-old ass decides to go out there and start talking to the Japanese media. Like I said, I knew 3 words, and I'm like out there, and I'm like, they're asking me questions, and I have a translator, and they're asking me about Ichiro and what I know about Ichiro. And I truthfully was saying, I don't know anything about Ichiro. I know that he's an outfielder, and that he's a really good hitter. And they said, yeah, but if you could compare him to anybody in the major leagues, who would you compare him to? And I said, I honestly don't have an answer for you. I don't know. And they kept pressing me, and they kept asking me, and then finally they asked me again, and I said, I don't know. I think he's a lot like Babe Ruth. And I just saw this pen go down to the paper. And the next day in the Hamachi newspaper, it was Ichiro, the next Babe Ruth. And I got my quote in there. I saved the newspaper and everything. It was pretty awesome. So
well, I mean, you weren't. Yeah, but
I just didn't know. I didn't know. So I'm excited to watch him play.
You were close. You honestly though, like you were closer in that player comparison than if you said like, yeah, he's like Kenny Lofton. Like he actually is closer to one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
Right? So, yeah.
Kenny Lofton had a good career, but Ichiro,
Hall of very, very good.
Yeah, Hall of very good. He actually did pretty decent on the ballot this year, but Ichiro to me is just such a mythological figure. Like he's so different than to this day, I don't really think there's a comparison for him. Like you can even go back 20 years and knowing what he did over the last 20 years of his career and been like, Ichiro is just Ichiro.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about transitions. He comes over here and wins the Rookie of the Year and the MVP, same season.
He had 350 that year.
Did he make Rob Dibble run naked through Times Square or something? Wasn't that the bet?
Was that what it was?
I think that's what he said, but I think he ended up changing it to like a tattoo on his butt of Ichiro's name or something like that. Because he said if he wins the MVP, I'll run naked through Times Square. And then he won the MVP.
I heard he was real big into pool. My buddy had a spring training camp with the Yankees, big league spring training camp. He had a couple stories about. Said practice didn't start till Jeter got there. So the whole team's ready. They're all ready to go. Everybody's getting ready to stretch. It's like be on the field at 9 o'clock. Girardi's there. He's like, my buddy's like, why aren't they talking to us or whatever? And Brett Gardner's like, oh, DJ's not here yet. I'm like, what do you mean? Like he's still getting his ankle taped up. When he comes out, like Joe will talk to the group. And so, it was like 9, 10 or whatever. And Jeter just does his like casual jog out there. And he was rehabbing too. But he said now this is a guy who spent like 10 years in the minors. So this is like his first major league camp, and like everything is just fucking, I'm there. The first guy there, he was the first guy there, last guy, always hitting on the tee, doing all that stuff. He still is now coaching kids and all that shit. And he's like, I've never seen anything like it on a baseball field. Yeah. It was cool. He said it was cool, but he said Suzuki took him took him under his wing, but would be like, hey, we're gonna go play pool if you want to go play pool. And he's like, whatever, dude. I'm gonna go play pool with Ichiro. How is he? Super competitive. He'd bring his own cue. He was like ready to go.
You think Jeter's overrated?
No.
Yeah.
Who was the toughest out for you as a pitcher?
Dave, you don't want to pick and pull on that. That's one of your biggest talking points.
I mean,
this guy roasts Jeter every chance he gets.
I like to dig Yankees fans because
you too.
In the age of social media, it's just constant. Number 28's coming this year. They just look down on the rest of the league because they're the Yankees. It's like, so I like to poke and prod about Jeter, and I do this thing every year where I put out a fake Hall of Fame ballot, and we're all verified on Twitter and have big followings. So I'll mark like I'll always split up Clemens and Bonds. Like I'll vote for one and not the other. And then I'll just send Twitter into who the fuck is this guy? Fuck this guy. And the year Jeter, I didn't vote for Jeter, and everybody thought it was me because he had the one. There was one person who didn't vote him, so that's why it wasn't unanimous. People thought it was me. And I've never admitted it on Twitter that it wasn't me. I just let him run with it. So, I mean, Jeter is Jeter.
He's still not admitting it. He just
won't say it.
Yeah.
I wish it were me.
Yeah.
I wish it were me.
I feel like I understand what people's gripe is with that. Like, you know, when you look at statistically and look at the numbers and some of the defensive metrics, but you win 5 World Series, you play that long, you don't one team, you don't embarrass your owner, your family, the game. Like, it's hard for me to sit there and say, oh, this guy's overrated. Like, cool.
The last part
I know
is
a lot
like,
of really good players ain't won shit, you know?
Yeah.
So
Say the last part is probably the most impressive. Because the stories you hear about Jeter, like the party, he likes to party and like never got caught up in anything in New York.
yeah.
And the guy like likes to go out and
on
chase
that
it.
in that
and
respect,
after it.
I couldn't hold it.
Underrated. In that respect, he's underrated. Off the field, he's underrated.
I mean, he was like, I don't want to put him on exactly this plane, but like he was of the like LeBron-ish level, I would say.
Yeah.
For a while, as far as being like the face of a sport.
Yeah.
And never anything off the field.
And to me, he's an incredible micro player. So when I look at analytics in the game, I always think of macro, micro.
Mm-hmm.
So we can take a guy and his macro stats are great. And the totality of all his season stats, oh, look at this, we should sign him, right? But when you put those on a micro level, you know, as you get closer into the playoffs and you get down to 8 teams, those stats become more and more micro because they don't matter as much. Because you have better players that you're playing against.
Mm-hmm.
So then it just starts to come down to competition and who you can compete against the guy 60 feet 6 inches away from. And to me, Derek was probably as good as anybody in those moments to slow your heart rate down. I mean, he was like him, Albert Pujols, like those guys when the game was on the line, it was like, oh boy, here we go. You know, like, sweet. Now you look like shit all day. Now I get your best at bat in the bottom of the 9th inning. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's how I looked at him, as like on a micro level. He could have a terrible year, but when it came down to like when it mattered the most, he was gonna somehow find a way to produce.
For sure, and I'll totally admit that I've always cherry picked those advanced stats that you were talking about. But when push came to shove, Jeter is Jeter. I know that, and they'd be stupid to say otherwise. And it pains me to admit that because I hate Yankees fans so much. But yeah, you nailed it. Like, there's so many things that stats don't measure.
I got a death threat from a Yankee fan one time. That was
Okay. Let's talk about that.
Like
for
a
a second.
real
He
one
might
or
have
like-
I
listened.
mean, I had extra security when we went to New York.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? What, just Red Sox days or what
Yeah.
was it? Okay.
2013.
Damn.
Apparently, I don't know.
I mean, you're like a nice guy.
Yeah. Well, I what happened was I threw a pitch that got away and it hit a guy.
Oh, you know what? You actually did. You
And
did some
so-
damage when you were over there,
and
and
so-
I appreciate the angle you're still taking on this one.
Thanks. And
Got away.
and so then I was at the ballpark and we were getting ready to go to a trip, and the security called me in and said somebody called twice and there's a death. And he's like, there's been issues, like some criminal issues before with this person. So it's like a legit. I had 3 security guards on detail with me in New York.
Wow.
Which was interesting, yeah. And then I had a bright idea at about 4:20 in the morning. One morning, we'd just finished a guitar session. PV was holding court in the hotel room with about 10 dudes. And Johnny Gomes and I thought, death threat, huh? Well, I guess now's the time to find out. And we grabbed the guitar and we went to Times Square, pulled up shop, met some nice Yugoslavian lady. She was a night janitor, and she stayed there till her kids went to school. Then she went home, and she just chit-chatted with us. And
She had no idea who
It's
you
you,
were,
our
right?
good friend Johnny Gomes.
yeah.
You guys brought guitars.
I brought a guitar. He brought a fruit basket. I don't know what he was hungry or he was trying to provide some food for the people. But and then I just played, and I don't play, but I can sing a little bit. So I was singing when I was kind of playing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get any money.
Well, you're more of an entertainer.
Yeah,
It's not about
that's
the
what it was.
instrument in your hands.
No.
Like, you're just a painter. You'll
That's
paint
it.
with anything.
Thank you. Yeah, it could have been a ukulele or it could have been half of a guitar.
Yeah.
But the best was the next day. So I'm at my locker, and Dave Brady, security for the Red Sox, big, tall New Englander, and he's like, "Hey, you fucking go to Times Square last night?" And I was like, "Yeah, what the fuck's wrong with you?" You know? I go, "Well, I figured like that was probably the hour I had where he's in bed. You know, he's not getting me then, and if he did." You know, like I'm the only person in Times Square. I could see him coming. Like there was like 6 people and
I
some
had a
street
head start.
sweepers. You know, like
Yeah.
the Pokemons and Superman and all those guys weren't there yet.
They were gone.
Yeah.
Elmo.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Which is another fun thing to do, by the way. I love to go to Times Square and take pictures with them and then ask that they give me money.
Come on.
Yeah.
You're just like that. You're just picking a fight.
But it's like, but then they freak out and be like, whoa. You're taking a picture with a World Series champion. You
that's a good
gotta
point.
pay up. This isn't just, I don't just give these out for free.
But that's like a brotherhood and community. So if like you piss off like one Mario, like 3 other Marios and a Luigi are going to show up.
That's all right. I got Naked Cowboy in my corner. So you never do that to him. You always pay Naked Cowboy.
We show
no matter
some
how famous.
respect.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's
absolutely.
got a guitar.
Yeah.
He does.
And let's stop right there and talk about our good friends at ChevyDriveChicago.com. Guys, we love a Chicago Chevy Land dealer.
Now's the season. I mean, the summer's really creeping up here. Baseball season's about to be here. You need to make sure that car is nice and fine-tuned, ready to go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, guys, we talk about fleet, talk about upgrading the fleet, or we just talk about basic service stuff, whether it's an oil change, tire rotation. You got something going on with the car, I encourage you to go to ChevyDriveChicago.com and find a local dealer near you. And this is like one of those situations where you guys think Chevy dealer. I want you to think Chevy dealer service. I want you to start thinking service when you see that Chevy logo, because they fucking take care of you guys. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that language, but they'll take care of you.
Yep, place an order too as well. If you want a brand new custom Chevy today, just go to ChevyDriveChicago.com to find your local dealer and place an order for your brand new custom Chevy. A lot of good options. Great service. You can't go wrong with ChevyDriveChicago.com.
ChevyDriveChicago.com. Why do I always do that at the end? I always say the website again.
That's smart. That's good ad reads.
And you know who probably enjoys great service at all times is Ryan Dempster. He says great service from ChevyDriveChicago.com. Let's get back to that interview.
Good
weapon.
So,
sounds like you enjoyed going to Yankee Stadium.
I did. I loved it. My second major league start was at Yankee Stadium.
How'd you do?
I did all right. I was looking back at the other day. I went 4 2/3 and 3 runs, or 3 or 4 runs. I'm sure they could find that. I left the runner on base that I think scored. I gave up a couple solo homers to Paul O'Neill, Tino Martinez, and Bernie
They just
Williams.
retired Paul O'Neill's number.
Yeah, I saw that.
And you, as a former Red,
yeah.
was his legacy that big with Cincinnati, or did he really just explode with the Yankees?
He was big. He was big when I was there too. They still love Paul O'Neill.
He's like the sternest, meanest looking baseball player.
He's who I think of when I think of the Yankees.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Jeter.
Just that era. The Yankees era.
Just no bullshit. Like, hey, we're going to squash you because we're the Yankees. It hasn't been like that for a couple decades. It was Paul O'Neill. Just like a mean asshole on the field.
Mary fuck kill Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, and Jorge Posada.
I know the answer to this immediately.
Mary fuck kill. Mary Bernie Williams.
Okay.
Great on the guitar.
Yeah. Sorry, Tino, but you're going to get fucked because you did it to me during my career. And then Posada, I'd have to get rid of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's out?
Yeah, he's out.
Growing
That's a tough question.
up.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I appreciate it.
No, I mean, I should, in the context of like, you're building a team or whatever, you want to have your guys.
Yeah. Although Posada.
Tino Martinez had the smoothest, prettiest swing
Oh,
I've
man.
ever seen, I thought.
He talked about bat path through the zone, like staying in the zone.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I could watch Tino Martinez just swing, like air swing, not even hitting a baseball, all day long growing up.
They were so good. I'm 21 years old. Like, I got sent out of major league camp before minor league camp started. Jim Leyland called me in the office. Said, hey, listen, you're not going to make the team.
Oh, wow.
You
That's
were an A-ball
fucking
last year,
shitty, dude.
You know? And I was like, well, minor league camp doesn't start for 3 days. He's like, go to the beach. I go, what about my meal money I just got? He goes, go to the track. So I did both. But so now, I get called up a month later, and I'm in Double-A Binghamton, New York, and I'm going from Binghamton, New York to the big leagues. And I have a couple relief appearances. Start at Wrigley Field. I go to Yankee Stadium, Fan Appreciation Day, 55,000 people. David Cohn pitching. I think Don Larson threw out the first pitch. It was bananas, like all the old timers are there. I go first inning, walk Chuck Knobloch, double play ball, homer, walk. I'm like, oh boy. 1-0, Darryl Strawberry's up. The whole crowd, four batters earlier, they're yelling from the right field bleachers, Darryl Strawberry.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he comes out of the dugout, and now I'm facing this guy, and I've just finished watching him on TV like 4 years ago when I was in high school. And I'm facing this dude, and I'm like beyond nervous, and I'm shaking Zahn off. I'm shaking him off. Zahn calls time. He comes out to the mound. He goes, what are you trying to throw? I go, a changeup. And he says, you don't throw a changeup. I go, yeah, I know, but if I throw anything else,
It's gone.
I'm gonna need another ball from that umpire. So, and I threw a change up, and I just grabbed the ball and kind of palmed it, and I threw it, and he had a rocket to D. Lee at first. D. Lee saved it, and then did well till the 5th inning. I kind of navigated my way through, but that was intense, man. Like New York, old Yankee Stadium was awesome. New Yankee Stadium's it's okay. Old Yankee Stadium kicked ass. It was awesome.
Yeah. Was baseball just cooler then, though? Like, it's just in general?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
In my opinion, yeah, because I was playing then, but I feel like the mid 80s to like the mid 2000s, it was pretty cool.
That's my favorite era by far and away. By far and away. That's the most entertained. The games were so fast.
Yeah.
2 hours, 30 minutes max. Juiced up, roided out, 70 home runs. That was the best era of baseball by far and away.
Well, there was something about like you bring up his name, Jim Leyland. Like there was something about that era of like before the analytics where it's like, well, why are we doing this? And it was like you just look down the dugout and there's some 65-year-old guy chain smoking heaters. He's like, we're fucking doing it because this is the fucking way I do it. And it's like that was, and that's what made baseball. That's what makes baseball completely different than all the other sports. It's just like, why are we doing this? What's the fucking player? It's like, well, you just got to trust. It's like this old wise sage, and now. You know, you can't do anything without someone breathing down your fucking neck because the percentage is this and that. And even if you go with your gut and if it's a 55-45 and you're like, well, I'm going with my gut and it's 45, like you're a trailblazer. You're a psycho. It's like, take this guy out and shoot him. You know, Fangraphs will fucking have I'm getting worked up about it. But
even if you do that and you succeed, you're going to get questioned afterwards. Why did you do that?
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's nuts.
I let him hit. He hit a homer. Why are you asking me? That like because that's exactly right. And I think the thing about back then was, and I appreciate because I was somebody who struggled with insecurity issues. I didn't feel like I belonged there, But when I first got to the big leagues and so because I didn't, I was in.
I mean, you threw 96 with a power slider.
No, but I meaning like I got sent to the minor leagues before minor league started, so like I didn't belong there. So I really struggled with that. But I think that back then there was a little bit, and we've changed this, there was a little bit more of hierarchy even within the team. Like you couldn't walk in the locker room and be like, cool, I'm on level par with, Derek Lee. Like, or, I couldn't sign or come up as a rookie with the Cubs and be like, dude, I'm just the same as Jason Hayward. It's like, no, you're not. This dude's been playing in the league for this long. Like there has to be that kind of establishment of order. Now, the days of like the hazing, I'm not big on that. Like the fun hazing, like rookie sign or dress up day, I was like, sweet, what, this is only one day? Like I can't do this for like 3 or 4 days. Like I'm thinking about this being my regular outfit, like, so, but the thing when you mentioned Jim Leyland was we came up in 1998. He just won the World Series in 1997. And this poor man had to watch his entire team get traded away. And then not only that, he had to watch all of us knuckleheads who weren't ready for the big leagues come up and play. And he was so great, and he was fabulous with us until it hit a breaking point. And he hit a breaking point in Houston, and that breaking point, that blow up he had on us in the locker room, it changed the trajectory of a lot of our paths. Like we had guys after that. If you look at the team, it was go around it. Mike Redmond, 10-year career, now a bench coach in Colorado, right? From a AAA backup catcher, AA, AAA, I might make it, to 10-year career.
Crushes lefties.
Crushes them. Tom Glavine can't sleep at night sometimes.
Crushes lefties, yes.
Derek Lee, Louis Castillo, Alex Gonzalez, Mike Lowell, Kevin Millar, Mark Kotze, Preston Wilson.
That team was fucking loaded.
Thank you. And then guys like myself, Brad Penny, AJ Burnett. Loaded. Go down the list. And he established really fast. I'll tell you about the story. This is a great story. So we're in Houston. We're losing 16-4, and he's on the bench puffing those heaters. You'd always tuck him in here. He's puffing away. And this is like beginning of August. And we're in the Astrodome. And Eric Ludwig tells a joke on the bench, and we're all laughing. And I'm really laughing. It was funny. I wish I remember the joke. I should probably ask him. And I see Jim, like as I'm looking at you're Jim Leyland. He just takes, and he just chucks it on the ground, right?
One of
Throws
those,
it down on the ground. And I'm like, oh boy, we're in trouble, man. We're like in big trouble. I can feel it, and he's piercing through me. So we end up losing the game 20-4, and we go in the locker room, and they had these old cafeteria style doors, and he wore spikes, which I thought was awesome.
That's great.
Isn't that awesome?
That's great. Oh, fuck.
Now they're probably wearing like penny loafers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dudes are rocking sweet Jordans now.
Oh, guys,
He's wearing
guys are
old
wearing
Riddells.
a hoodie. Guys are out there wearing hoodies. Guys ready to go play second base.
So he's sitting there and we're in the locker room. It's super quiet. And you just hear this like, door opens up. If I ever see another one of you fucking pitchers laughing when we're getting our asses kicked, I'll have you out of here so fucking ass your fucking head will spin. You think I'm kidding around? You guys coming from A-ball and AA with 5 ERAs thinking you're big leaguers? Well, I got news for you boys. You ain't a pimple on a big leaguer's ass with the exception of a few of you. You know who you are and I ain't talking to you. You think this is funny? You think you want to sit here and laugh when we're getting our asses kicked? I win a World Series last year, and this is what I have to watch now. You guys laughing when we're getting our asses kicked? Thinking you're big leaguers. Why? Because you pay your spread money and eat that fancy food at your nice fancy steakhouse, wearing your cool suit, driving around in your Lexus? Think you're a goddamn big leaguer? Well, I got news for you. You ain't a big leaguer. With the exception of a few of you, you guys stink. Every last one of you stink. And then he stops, and he's like, and you think I want to be up here telling you guys this? I'd love to tell every one of you guys that you guys are great, but you're not. You better start to. I'll go 0-162 with you. Swear to God, Scouts Honor, guys. I'll go 0-162. Not like that though. You will respect this game. You will respect how to play this game, and you will respect the guys out there busting their tail. And you sit here and laughing your asses off when we're losing 16 to goddamn 4. What the hell is wrong with you? And he leaves, and I'm like, oh shit. Because he's talking to me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I'm like, all right, cool. Hey, man, clean it up. I'm like, oh, boy, he's talking to me and a couple other guys. So I go to stand up and take my pants off and get out of there as fast as I can. And Jay Powell, the reliever, sitting next to me, puts his hand on my shoulder. He goes, hey, sit down, man. He's coming back. And I go, what? And another thing. And he just goes, and here he goes, and he lays into us again. And he's like, guys, I want to hug you. I want to tell you you're all doing great. I want to tell you you're great baseball players. I want to win with you, but you're not good. You suck. And he just keeps going. And I thought it was great because it was the only time during all of this that he ever blew up on us. Like he was really patient. You know, for somebody who's at his stature going through what he was going through, he was just a good mentor. And so he leaves and he does this 5 times, right? And we're just wearing it. And the last time he comes in, he goes, guys, listen, I'm done. I'm going to go in my office. I'm going to have a whiskey and a cigar. And if I come out in this locker room and there is anybody sitting in this locker room, when I come out here, I'm calling the cops and I'm having you arrested for impersonating a major league fucking baseball player. Now get the hell out of here. And dude, I think half the team didn't shower. It was a mad sprint. It was like, I'm good, man. I didn't play. Like just dudes were out of there so fast. And I thanked him for it because he was right. He was right. You know, and so when you talk about that era, there was this like, you better respect, just because you come up here and hit 210, you're not a big leaguer. You know, and he was really good about it. We all went on to have great careers because of him, and I can't thank him enough. He's just a tremendous man, and dude, I still see him to this day.
It's like the Bull Durham scene in real life. Like, you know what that makes you? Lollygaggers.
Yeah.
Your recollection of that speech is fucking pretty awesome, man. Like, I got to be like, you must have really carried that with you. Like,
I did. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I try to always remember that too when I was thinking.
You don't got to name names, but how many players would you say handled it the wrong way and like just took it to heart and, you know, folded because of it?
Yeah, not many. I think we had a really good core of guys.
I mean, that fucking lineup, that was like stud after stud.
Yeah.
Well, managers don't really, managers are at the lower levels, you know, in like college and high school, like head coaches, they go, you're just kind of like, you'll lose a game, you got to play tomorrow. What real bandwidth do you have to get pissed off? It's usually reserved for laughing. It's not even like, oh, they're not running down the baseline fast enough. Like, that's just like a quick fuck you. But when you bring the guys together and you're really fucking giving them the business, it's usually because A, you got your ass kicked, and B, there is this element of like, it doesn't matter to the guys either. Because as long as it matters to you, I feel like a manager will stand there and be like, all right, guys, we got to get on to the next one. We got to get on to the next game, shake this one off. I mean, that there's so much baseball to be played. They just don't get mad like that. Was Lou a screamer?
You know what? He was pretty good. He did a couple times. He was just more of like, sometimes he would just, you know, say things, but, you know, more like along the lines of like I remember one time we were playing bat. He's like, guys, what is your problem? It's just baseball. There's only 2 things in life that are certain: death and taxes. This ain't it, man. Come on, let's go.
Right.
Like he was he was good about that. He did a really good job. At the time Luke came, he was older, so it was like he was really good about just letting us, especially like I said, if you kind of just like showed him you were prepared and did what you needed to do, he just let you play. He was more fun to like the peripheral stuff, like getting guys up who are on the team, stuff like that.
Did he get along with Soriano?
Yeah, him and Soriano got along really well. Yeah, especially the 1st and the 15th. Sori was always really happy on those days.
Is there any manager?
Okay, so what are we saying here? He was
great teammate.
Well, he got the suite. I remember that was part of his contract. That was a big thing, and like the media was like, "Yo, he negotiated a suite when you guys would go on the road."
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I always get this confused. You are or are not a Soriano guy?
I'm not. I mean, I was, over the moon when we signed him. I fucking went down there to the press conference and like tried to get his autograph. And I got one actually. And, but I don't know. I was just a little disappointed in his tenure given, but probably was a meathead fan in that and whatnot. I just thought he was, classic hot 1 week. And then the other 3 weeks, he just kind of, tapered off, but.
When he was cold as ice. When he was hot, it was surface of the sun hot. It was next level because people say don't throw him a strike, and it's like cool. He's gonna hit the ball that's gonna bounce. He's gonna hit it out. Like he was just a great teammate. I don't know if it's because he came up in those winning ways of New York, where like if he went 4 for 4 with 3 homers and we lost the game, my locker was right next to his. There's no like smile on his face like I did great, but we lost. But if he went 0 for 4 with 4 punchies and won the game, you'd see all that big smiling face, and like that's all he really cared about. And I think when he blew his quad out running down the bases, I don't think people realize how bad that was. Like it was bunched up to the top of his, and it took away a lot of his dynamic ability, the stolen bases, and then even playing the outfield. Like he'd only been an outfielder for 1 year in Washington, and 2, you were never gonna get what he did in Washington in Chicago. He was 40-40.
Yep.
So, like, that's his peak season. So when people are like, come on, it's like, yeah, but, like, if you think you're going to get that, you're not. I mean, statistically, if we're going to take analytics and do it, who's been 40-40 more than once? Right? Like, that doesn't happen,
Yeah, it's a 40-40 thing. And then even back then, like, that was, I mean, there were big contracts around them, but that was the first Cubs real big one.
That was big ones, yeah.
We didn't get it done with Beltran. We got this guy. Like, this guy's going to he's going to do everything.
Right. And I still think we had the 03 juice was still there. Like that like, you know what? Like we belong in the pennant chase. We belong at the top. We're good enough. Like we're finally good enough to be going toe to toe with the Cardinals.
Well, because it wasn't just him too. We signed DeRosa. We signed Ted Lilly, Bob Howery.
Bob Howery almost beat the shit out of that guy.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh man, Bob is like.
Do you remember that?
Bob looks like he could be in the WWE right now. Like
Bob Howery's pitching against the Giants. He had blown a save the night, or blew a hold or something. He'd fucked up a game, the night before or something. He's pitching against the Giants. He's throwing his warm up pitches, and some guy charges them out. A guy like runs onto the field behind home plate, sneaks out behind the net, and Bob Howery dropped his fucking glove. And was ready to throw punches so quick.
And Jordan, the security guard, Minnie Goldberg, came out of nowhere and saved him from getting his rear end knocked around by Bob.
Does Wrigley get more hooligans running around on the field than other places?
No, I feel like Philly gets a lot.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
You mentioned Ted Lilly. What can you tell me about Ted Lilly? Is he a ladies' man?
No, he's quiet. Well, they all love those beautiful eyes, but he's just like, he is awesome, man. He was the best teammate I ever had at trying to make himself better through making his teammates better.
Oh, come on.
You're big into the horses, right?
Yeah.
I actually own a couple horses if you want in on them. But a handful of years ago,
I do have a horse named after me. Moises Alou named a horse after me.
I actually think I knew that.
Yeah, Streaking Dempster.
I think I knew that. Yeah. Ours is named after Jay Cutler, Smoking Jay. He's a stakes winner. He's good.
We need to check in. How's he doing?
He's good.
Good.
Yeah.
But it makes me happy.
Yeah.
So my dad's youngest brother he's closer to me in age. He's my uncle than he is my dad. And he married a woman younger than him. And so she's only like 8 years older than me, but she's technically my aunt. And he took her to Arlington. This is when they were engaged or dating. I forget. And my uncle's a huge Cubs fan. And he said Ted Lilly started hitting on my now aunt. And my uncle's like right there, like, hey, asshole, like, I love you. Like, go fucking win 20 games. But that's my girl.
Is that your Uncle Bobby?
Yeah.
Maybe more general conversation.
I'm pretty sure it's Ted Lilly. I'm like 95% sure.
But you know what? That's sure enough, Dave, to out him.
Yeah.
For hitting on.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
There's a difference between
this is
hitting
also
on
like,
and just being charming.
Could he
20
just
years
spin
ago.
a fucking curveball
All
coming
the
out
time.
of the womb? Oh
Yeah.
my God, what a hammer!
All the time. Just like
12
you name it.
6, long and loopy.
Yeah, we really hit it off. Actually, great. We hit it off surprisingly well. When he was trying to sign, he was a free agent with the Blue Jays. There was this golf tournament they do out in Pebble Beach with a bunch of baseball players and coaches and umpires called the World Series of Golf. So Jim Hendry's like, hey, Ted Lilly's going to be there. Tell him about Chicago. So the first night before the tournament starts, there's this poker night, and him and Eric Burns are having a conversation. I go, Burnsy, what's up, dude? And I was like, Ted, man, how you doing? Hey, man, you gotta go to Chicago. Like, Chicago's awesome. You'll love it there. Like, just kind of general conversation about it. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna grab a beer. Anything? Want anything? And I walk away, and he looks at Burns. He goes, who the fuck was that? It was so funny. He told me that story later, but yeah, he is great, man. He's just his story. He grows up in this small little town outside of Yosemite National Park in Oakhurst, California. Kind of not the easiest growing up, and persevered through it all. And he said he tells a great story. He went down to Giants game and watched Charlie Huff warming up.
Knuckleball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said in that moment, he goes, if this fucking guy can do it, I could pitch in the big leagues.
Wow.
And then later on, Charlie Huff ended up being his pitching coach, and he said it was the most influential pitching coach he had.
I love that.
A knuckleballer teaching a left-handed pitcher, just the mental side of the game. And yeah, Ted was just great. Very stubborn. Like, he was going to win. He's the kind of guy, if you play 21 basketball, he's like, and he loses, it's
pissed off. Yeah.
No, it's like, let's play to 31. Like, he's going to keep coming and coming, and I love that about him. It's just persistent. Like the Chris Young with the fastball in that he was pretty sure he was going to throw inside. Remember the glove spike in Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody remembers that one. And that was great. The glove spike is awesome. But the next year, Arizona opened up against us. And Gio's catching, Soto's catching, and up comes Chris Young, and Gio throws down a 2. Shake. Fastball away. Shake. Change up. Shake.
Nope.
And you just see Soto go. And Ted goes, yeah, and he hit it out. He hit another homer. It's so good.
Did he give the glove spike again?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
and then he came in the dugout. He's like, I'm going to get one in there. I'm getting one in there. Like, he's just
fucking.
it's like
he's
I love
gotta
that.
die.
I love that.
Yeah.
it's like the end of Tin Cup. He's like, give me another ball.
Yeah.
Give me another ball.
Yep.
Just like keep sinking in the fucking water.
Mm-hmm.
No, those were, and you look back in your career, listen, you won a World Series championship. You had played with fucking Junior in Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
Like you come up, you played under Jim Leyland, right? When you come in, some amazing experiences. Like, how does your time with the Cubs, particularly when we were really good, like how does it stack up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Cub. Like, I played 8.5 seasons in Chicago. It was like, a huge chunk of my career, over half my career in one city. And the opportunity, right? And then the people, like, I started a foundation here, and the support from everybody. Pitching at Wrigley, running out to center field and stretching on the wall every fifth day. Man, just the best, And even closing, like I had a great year closing, a good year closing, and a crappy year closing. And through all that, it was just like, other than the one person telling me to move back to Canada, it was like, I'm not even sure if he was a Cub fan, but it was just, the people were great. And I just love it. Like, I always lived in the neighborhood to ride my bike or walk to Wrigley Field. That was my office, man. Like, how spoiled and lucky was I to be able to do that? And, I know as a player, we didn't get to do it, but I got to come back and be a special assistant and win a World Series, and just thought about all of those people that I got to know over the years playing, from parking lot attendants to season ticket holders that sit out in the bleachers to Phil Grinstead, who sat behind me in the bullpen, to, Tom Peake, who sits out in center field with the group out there, and Ken Kiefer and all these guys. And then it's just amazing, man.
Did you get to know any former A-list celebrities?
Yeah, you're spoiled by that, like just like the amount of celebrities that would come through, and then true passionate Cub fans, like you'd have
Like John Cusack.
Yeah, true Chicago sports fans.
Yeah.
But like you go through, like, especially during, coming after 03, like all the people that came through there. Like, did you ever hear the Ozzy story with Woody, with Kerry Wood, the Ozzy Osbourne?
Oh, I thought you meant Ozzy.
No. So when I remember Ozzy did the memorable seventh inning
yeah.
stretch, right? So he's in the locker room with Sharon, and they're over at Kerry Wood's locker, and Sharon's like, "What do you boys put on your jumblies, so you don't get hit with the ball?" And Kerry reaches his locker and he grabs the jock strap. And he's like, "This right here." And Ozzy's like, "That's it. Oh, I'd be wearing a fucking suit of armor if I was there."
Two people who have probably never even seen a single pitch of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I mean,
But yeah, so and then playing here, I got to
Yeah.
know a lot of guys, and coming through, became friendly with guys like Vince Vaughn, and obviously relationship with Eddie and Morello and different people, and yeah, I've been really spoiled by that. Kind of puts I pinch myself. I'm like, really, like, we're hanging out right now?
For sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like, we kind of get that a little bit. Like, I remember, I think it was in Cincinnati. You were playing with the Cubs, and I'm just conditioned to hate the Cubs, so I hate everything Chicago Cubs. And you were jawing with, like, lighthearted. You were just ribbing with fans, and I was like, fuck, I like that guy. I don't want to say it, but I like that guy. And, like, fast forward years later, we're fucking interviewing you. So, like, I understand to a much smaller extent what you mean by that. Like, what am I doing in here with Ryan Dempster right now, Yeah. Grew up my whole life watching you pitch and everything. It's weird. It's weird.
It is. Like, I remember going in 2013 when we were in the World Series or in the ALCS with Boston, and my girlfriend at the time, my now wife, we were going to meet Chelios and Vetter and Eddie over at Beer Works. It was after game 1 of the ALCS, and after game 2 of the ALCS, and I go into the Beer Works. First, the guy didn't want to let me in, which I thought was awesome. I get it. He's respecting the time limits. It's like one of the only times I ever name drop, like, "Hey, dude, like, can I?" He didn't recognize me because I was in the bullpen and didn't pitch much then. But anyways, I go in and these two guys had these awesome American League old school, just the American across it, the all white cream color jersey. And they come over and they're like, "Hey, can you sign?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I sign on one and I pass it over to Eddie, and he perfectly scripts this beautiful Eddie Vedder right across it. It's just beautiful. Then I'm getting the other one. I'm going to hand it, and the other guy goes, "No, I'm good, man. I'm good." And he takes it, and he just looks at his buddy, and he's like, "Dude, why'd you just let some random dude sign your jersey?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you hear that, dude?
Yeah.
You're the random dude tonight. Like, this is so great."
That's hilarious.
Like a god of 1990s rock music.
I mean, yeah, like an absolute like icon legend.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. I can't even imagine how many of these.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Side
It's
stories
cool.
like
Like, we chopped it up big time the first time he came out about the Cubs, but like just hear about the other stuff.
Yeah, that's the best
It's cool.
stuff.
Like, I'm sure you probably get, you don't talk about those days as much, right?
Yeah, probably not as much. Yeah, like
Probably pretty heavy Cubs, I would assume.
yeah, heavy Cubs, and
like,
not a
what'd
lot
you
of the
think
Marlins.
of
Cincinnati.
Anthony Rizzo going over 3 with 2 strikeouts? Like,
Yeah.
all that's boring. It's done.
Yeah. Well, and like even like playing in Cincinnati, like you talked about Junior, like I went to the Kingdom to go watch this guy. Now I'm teammates with him.
Yep.
and,
That's crazy.
You know.
Yeah, because did you grow up a Mariners fan?
yeah, I would say Mariners and Blue Jays because they were up in Canada. But
Yeah.
like we got Kairos, so it was like Channel 7 with Rick Riz and Dave Niehaus calling Mariner games, and
Right.
so I watched all those guys like Langston and Eric Hansen, and you had like the Spike Owen playing short, Henry Cotto, et cetera. Those were the days of, and Junior. I mean, Junior was everything, and then getting to be on his team and teammate in the world and the All-Star game in 2000 and getting traded over there. It was hard not to, I'm a grown up boy now. I'm a young man and I'm teammates with this guy, and I don't want to be in awe. He's just the same, right? And I really found that out. He really is, man. We became really good friends and just a great dude. And still to this day, took the most impressive batting practice this round with him and Adam Dunn. That I'll put that up against Josh Hamilton in the 28 home run derby. It was. He sat there. He was coming off of an injury. He had that leg injury, and he was coming back off the hamstring injury the first time. And he was taking early BP. Him and Adam Dunn, and he used the C271 34-31. And he was hitting 2-iron after 2-iron over the left center bleachers. And he'd hit like 10 home runs in a row that looked like Tiger crisping a 2-iron.
Jesus Christ.
It was just getting that nice. Yeah.
I like if I had a camera phone, I would have been filming it. It was so pretty, and I was like, it took me back in that moment, like to literally, I was on the back of the cage, and I felt like I was at the Kingdom.
Yeah,
watching
for sure.
him. It was like, I get it. I see why he's the best. It was crazy.
For sure.
I love those. Like baseball, we make fun of Ryan, who's somewhere in here. he uses the word romantic for a lot of things, but baseball really is romantic, and especially for reasons like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the attachments that you have, right?
Oh yeah, you don't get that in other sports. I don't feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something about it's something about the way that baseball leads up to, like when you walk into the ballpark and it's outside, right? You're not in a venue.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as loud
There's
as
no
football
time
because not
limits.
everybody's been tailgating and wasted by the time they walk in for kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit more of a build up to it, and then you walk up and then you see the field and the players are running their stretches and the announcers making their announcements, and you're
beautiful.
It is. It's
beautiful.
it's like each game is its own story as it's being told.
Yeah.
And it's really
Like you played at Wrigley Field, you got like Wrigley Field's the prettiest stadium in all of sports. You got those purple and orange skies like at twilight. 40,000 people. You said that everybody like, all right, let's have a little change.
And two, in baseball, anything can happen on any given day. Like
exactly.
You know, like other than the other night when the Bulls lost the game to the Kings, a bad team losing to a good team. That's rare,
Yeah.
But on any given night, that guy that's 60 feet 6 inches.
Yeah, it takes rare circumstances like the Bulls going out west and bringing back and changing the lineup up.
Yep.
And because if they play on a neutral court under neutral circumstances,
gonna be a 20-point
game
every single time.
typically
Yep.
win.
Yeah.
And NFL, NBA, usually it's hard to, the upsets are few and far between.
Yep.
But
And even in hockey, like,
Yeah.
the Lightning's going to go play the Canucks. The Lightning's going to win the game.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. But in baseball, there's one guy that's standing out there. Bud Smith threw a no-hitter. Like Phil Humber threw a perfect game.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
not knocking either
And
of
he
those.
was out of baseball like 2 months later.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like that can happen, and that's what's pretty cool about it.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, thanks. Thank you very much for coming. Hopefully, we get to see you more. I feel like the bike ride, it's down the street. It's almost too easy for you. So anytime you want to come in, shoot the shit, talk about the Cubs, or just talk about it, If you get the sense that you're that at home people stop listening to your stories, we'll always be here to listen. How's that?
I always talk
I got
about
more. I won't
Fair
repeat any of those
proposition.
ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
how there's like a handful of people, but mostly baseball players. One of them being Hawk Harrelson, where I just want to sit in a dive bar, drink cheap domestic light beer, and just lob questions and talk baseball. Like, this is what we're here for. So
Thanks. Yeah, I enjoy being on with you guys. I love sharing those stories. Those are the memories that keep me close to all the guys I played with and moments in my career. And you can see they make me smile, and I'm thankful for them too, right? Like, I'm thankful for Jim Leyland for that moment where he was right.
Baseball
He
needs
turned
those
me into
guys
a big
again.
leaguer in that moment, whether he
So
liked it or
sweet.
not. Yeah.
So sweet.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Well,
Thanks,
thanks a lot.
Ryan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
you bet, guys.
Ryan Dempster, everybody. I feel like we were just scratching the surface. We could be sitting here for an untold amount of time, just baseball story after baseball story, playing for the legendary managers. Like even the Jim Leyland thing, because Jim Leyland just would sit in the dugout crushing Winston-Salem's and just motherfucking guys. Casually though.
It was so cool that his recollection, like I said, it was so cool.
How many times do you think he's told that story?
a few.
Probably a good amount. And
You could tell he likes telling it though, because he was getting animated with the hands and everything.
I'd love to hear the speech again. Like that's a
Like
repeat
you
story.
it's a good story when it's about baseball and someone who's not like, I'm not trying to say it's not a baseball fan, but he's like not balls deep in it like Carl and I are. He was getting like, dude, that's a fucking great story. He had one off camera once we got done recording about Greg Maddux. We'll save for the next time another great story. But just one of those, just a guy that loves talking baseball, and I love talking baseball. So he's got it open. He lives down the street, he says. So fucking come
Took
in.
his little bike here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
nice.
he's riding it through the. Hey, look, there's Ryan Dempster on his. It's like a 1950s
Yeah.
Schwinn or something.
Yeah,
It's
it looks sick.
It's an awesome bike, and I don't even like riding bikes, but his bike was cool.
Yeah, funny guy. I did when we're like vibing on managers getting pissed off. Like, it is funny because like football, you got 17 fucking games. Like you're in halftime on one of those things. You're like, hey boys, like we better win this fucking game. Baseball, it's like, all right, whatever. We get shelled in the first. It's how much can you really bitch? But
Get him tomorrow. Yeah.
it'll be interesting. Is Eberflus Yeller?
I don't know. It's a good question.
He has a mic'd up that's out there from his defensive coordinator of the Colts. I like it.
Yeah.
Is he a meathead football guy?
He's just got like that gravelly voice when he's
Yeah.
running around the practice fields. He sounds like football. I don't know if he's a meathead. I don't know obviously well enough at this point to know that, but the way that like just his voice sounds is just like that's a football
Is
guy.
it who John Fox gravelly or no?
Come on.
It's like a younger version of it. Maybe Carolina John Fox, which I don't mind that John Fox.
That John Fox is on the far end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is Avery Johnson last night calling the first round games. We don't need to go down that path. But a good voice. Also, I think he has the play sheet tucked into his waistband. D coordinators with the play sheet tucked into the waistband. That's just a go-to move.
Got Jay Cutler. Sorry. A lot of change within the past week, huh?
Yeah. How do you
He's
feel?
gutted it down bare bones, man.
Yeah, that's why. Listen, this is like the prototypical example of why, like the bullshit, like, well, Pace might be promoted, like they might keep this guy might. It never works that way.
Mm-hmm.
It never works that way. It's a fucking overhaul. It's a rebuild.
Yeah.
I like it. I give Paul's credit for just coming in there and being like, nope. And it makes sense. I mean, Khalil Mack is getting paid so much money. And do you think any of it was like Aaron Rodgers signed that deal and then like 12 hours later it's like, all right, we're making all these cuts now?
I don't think so.
We don't have a shot anyways.
Well, I mean, if they don't, if the Packers are like, yo, here comes Jordan Love, is there any sense in him when Poles is like, all right, well, we get Mack here, we got fucking Quinn on this side? Or is it like, well, here, Aaron Rodgers back for 4 years, like there's just...
I wonder. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, like, the thing is, those guys aren't wired to think that way.
Yeah.
So, like,
Correct.
probably no.
Correct.
But, like, you never know. Like, that certainly wouldn't be a bad strategy if it was. Because they got to just start stockpiling, man. Pace really put them in the shitter.
Yep.
Salary cap wise and, draft pick wise. So, Poles, like, you got to let him do his thing. I mean, people were upset with what we got in return from Mac. And I get it. Like, we gave up a lot to get him. We gave him a lot of money. But, hey. Sometimes what people's going rate is their going rate.
What's the cap consequences? Like, are they picking up that money, or does that go to dead cap?
So the Bears, they have like $24 million in dead cap
for this year.
For this year,
Yeah.
and then they're out of it after that, which is great.
Yeah.
They save $6 million, and like in the NFL, you could get a good starter for $6 million. You know, so. That's good, and they're gonna have over $100 million in next year, and they're not gonna be able to do much now. And I don't really like. I know we talked the other day, like, oh, who do you want them to sign? I was like, I don't really care if they sign anyone. Just get in a good position to sign people next year. So very opposite of White Sox Dave and the White Sox right now, rightfully so. Where the two teams are at.
Were you sad to see? I'm sorry, were you sad to see Tariq Cohen at all? I mean, it just feels like he hasn't taken a snap in so long. I feel like
I mean, they cleared out Cohen, they cleared out Trevathan, they cleared out Eddie Goldman, and they cleared out Mack, and they were all the right moves. I mean, Tariq Cohen was never the right move in the first place. Let's be honest
stupid.
With ourselves here. Nobody liked that when it happened.
Yep.
So, I like it all. I think it's unfortunate. I think Eddie Goldman was a fucking young, promising nose, and I really liked him. I thought he brought a great. He's a great fit next to fucking Hicks and Mack, and it was,
but not in a 4-3.
Not in a 4-3,
right.
And like something happened. I don't know what happened exactly, but something happened. He sat out that COVID year, and his right, obviously do what's best for you, but he just never came back the same.
That's not the guy that because I remember you being very like, oh, Eddie fucking Goldman, here we go. And like the guy that we were watching is not the guy that had captured your interest and attention right away.
Exactly. I loved him.
Yeah.
I really did.
And then you go through that list. I mean, Goldman missed all of 2020 for COVID. Mack only played 7 games last year. Trevathan has been banged up, the last 2 or 3 years. So Cohen hasn't played in forever. So it's like these big ticket names from 2018, but in reality, they haven't delivered the way that we would have hoped over this last several years. So it's like you're kind of like I don't even know necessarily like that they're that much worse, because if Mack only gave you 7 games and not all of them were great, and you still had Robert Quinn on the other side getting team record for sacks, like like it's not like I don't think they're going to take a huge step back, but they are setting themselves up. And and like you said about free agency, well, Poles kind of said that in his introductory press conference, like we're building through the draft, like this is going to be a process, and so you got to pick the second round pick this year, and then a conditional one for Mack, right?
Yeah, to me, it just signified that, like, the Bears, it could have went a lot of different ways. Like they could have, hey, let's just fucking tighten up the defense a little bit. There's still a lot of good pieces, and let's try to build around Fields, and we could like make this work. We could just try to push it through. No, the defense was just completely overhauled, or it's going to be overhauled, and it's stripped down to studs right now. So for the most part,
would you trade Robert Quinn?
Yeah, I trade him. I would love to see Eddie Jackson go. Like I would. There's no one that's.
Fire sale.
So great that this can happen in the NFL like this, because I feel like even when Theo came in, he had to lay out like a 4-year plan and be like, all right, we're going to do this. The NFL is just like, listen, there's a new fucking crop of draft picks coming every single that are just ready to go, get plugged in.
Yeah,
so it is cool because we wanted to see. I mean, we just want to see a path forward, a direction we can buy into, and for Poles to come in right away. These are moves where like you can respect the. I would just say like how clean the house is right now. Like we can go anywhere from here.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. So,
$100 million. That's so much for open cap next year too, right? I feel like that's.
Yep.
As we like in the history, I don't know, like in the recent history, like is there a team or a circumstance that comes to mind? Like did Tampa have a ton when they went out and signed Brady and they brought in Gronk and
someone's got a ton right now. I forget who it is, but they could do a lot. I mean, you could do a lot with that. And I saw the Bears and the Seahawks are only two teams with over $40 million in dead cap for this year. So
it's tough.
Yeah.
Well, and you got to earmark some of that money for next year for Roquan too, and like so, like he's going to be a piece going forward. And so you're.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I said everybody. I don't know if I'd trade Roquan. And obviously, you don't trade Fields right now either because you need to give him some time, and you just gave up a first rounder for him. So.
But I don't even think anybody's walking around being like, should we trade Roquan? Yeah, so don't, I think there is some like the moves that you kind of expected. Like anybody that's on that list of like you pull up the cap hit and
and Roquan and Fields are obviously both young enough where in 4 years, however long this rebuild plan takes, they'll probably still be good players.
Hopefully,
that is the most hopeful I've been in a while.
Yeah,
actually.
But
I like it.
Are you hopeful for anything that even remotely exists in the following football season, or is it more down the road stuff?
More down the road.
I'm looking at 2022 going and be like, ew.
It's gonna be tough to get through, but like you just know that a good GM could make it work faster than in the NFL,
especially in the NFL.
Yes, it's different.
There's so much turnover.
In MLB, where we would be sitting here staring down the barrel of 2022, 23, 24, and like maybe be fighting for a wild card in 2025. Now it's like, hey,
2024, 25 should be when they're like, okay, we're trying to win the division.
Like
and
next year's just all
an
about
extra playoff spot and whatnot.
Cubs are back. White Sox are there.
Next year's just all about seeing what Fields has.
Yeah,
like that's what
100%.
Yeah. So as long as you see like promise and development from Fields,
I just hope we don't get his best year. That would suck.
If you wasted
he just like fucking comes out and just roasts everybody, and then he's like the talk of town, and then they support him,
and then it all falls apart.
We go out to the, I almost said the competitor, but we go out to a sports book in Jersey and sit there and watch us lose 10-3.
That was brutal.
Yeah, like it's actually interesting.
After running a T formation and dressing like you're from you fucking cocksucker.
So yeah, I think it's glass half full with the Bears right now. You don't have any choice but to be optimistic when you have a new GM, and he's given us no reason not to be yet. So we'll see who does in the draft. I like that we have an extra pick.
Yep.
So all good. I'll miss Khalil Mack, like I said. That was, I think all of us we could speak for it. We had just gotten back from New York the day that trade went down. It was early Saturday morning. I wasn't even awake, and I was just getting texts from you guys, and just the excitement that he brought to the franchise. Like it just can't
Just
really
go look
explain
at your
it.
halftime update against the Packers. That between the trade and like the halftime to that was like the greatest. Like we were like, this is it. The fucking. I'm ready to call my dad and be like, forget the 85 Bears, man. We got the 18 Bears. They sacked Aaron Rodgers. There were so many. So many moments.
Still got second half to play.
Killed them.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
But that, if you really do think about it,
This
Khalil Mack peaked in the first half of his first game with the Chicago Bears. Like that was
He was still really good.
I know,
even
but if you're talking about the moments where you were most excited about Khalil Mack, it was the first half of his first game, and
he was a great player in Brian Bulaga's nose.
I'm gonna go sleep.
That's when the Moon Book Club got invented.
You're right. So we'll miss him certainly. I mean, that was our first season really fucking covering him.
Honestly, man, if it weren't for that team, we're not sitting in this office.
I think that's probably a lot of truth to that.
If they were like, what we expect them to be next year, I don't think we have this office.
And also, he's going to look really cool in a Chargers uniform.
Big time. Well, everybody does.
I know, but he's something
the
about
Chargers
him.
are going to be fucking awesome next year.
Him outside opposite of Bosa is.
Yeah, like there's not many uniforms where I could picture Mac like not looking cool in, but like he'll look extra cool in a Chargers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those baby blues.
Yeah, like I don't think he'd look great in like a Chargers, like a Jets. All right, and I mean,
And
a
a
Packers or a Jets,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
Who's he
No,
look beating
that
Chargers?
he's
Nobody
cool.
looks cool in the Jets except for Bart Scott.
Vinny Testaverde.
Okay.
Yeah, he was good.
I can do a Wayne Corbett. I'll see your way. Guy's probably had 40 concussions.
Laverne Coles.
All right. Please go subscribe to Dog Walk. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we've got some merch out for the NCAA March Madness. Is there anything else we should be promoting?
Yeah, the Sling Sleepers, myself and Eddie, and the San Francisco Dons. Are they the University of San Francisco or the San Francisco University?
Thank you. Of
University of San Francisco Dons are going to ride them to the Final Four and make $50,000.
Attaboy. Go check out that contest. Good luck to Illinois. We'll be on the block hard for Illinois. Love Illinois. Love Brad Underwood. All gas.
No breaks.
DJ, play that shit. Go and sign a fucking outfielder.